I thought it was a little bit funny. I got to thinking about it. Brother Ike, prolific writer, grammarian, all of that. And then here I come along, can't write a thing. I can copy and paste some stuff, and that's what I did. I didn't know, last night, seriously doubted I'd make it tonight. And so I decided I just don't feel very good, so I'm going to print everything up and give it to everybody so in case I get weird, you can kind of keep up with me. All right? We'll have prayer in just a minute, but I've been looking at prayers in the Bible. Come to old Job. There's a lot of prayers in the Bible I could go through, but I don't know. I picked 20 different people, so we don't get too bored with one guy. Psalms are just full of prayer, So tonight we're going to be looking at Job, just a little bit of what he said. What is prayer? It's what a man says to God. That's it. Simple as that. So we find prayers in the Bible where men had said something to the Lord. What'd they say? How did they say it? You kind of notice that in the prayers. How do they approach God? So let me put on my glasses. I downsized the font so I could get it all on one page, and now I can't see it. I should have run it like a 16 font and did 2 pages. But before we get into the prayer, which is going to be Job 42, 1 through 6, I want to do a little quick review about Job, about the book of Job. Job 1:1 says right there on the top of the paper, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was perfect or complete and upright. Means he was on the level. And one that feared God, but I like to look at it more as revered God. And he eschewed evil. That means to turn from evil. So that tells you a little bit about, I don't know who wrote the book of Job. There's a lot of debate on that. I don't even want to get into it. They're all right. Whatever. If that's who you say wrote it, I agree with you. I don't know. But the writer of the book of Job, if we believe it's the Word of God, and we do, I do, I know y'all do too, well, that verse 1 describes Job to a T. I believe that's what he was. Don't know about Job's day-to-day, every hour of his life, things like that. But generally speaking, this was Job, verse 1. That's the man we're going to look at, the prayer we're going to look at. If you scooped on down to Job 38, verses 1 through 3, it says, Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkeneth counsel, or dims or hides counsel? By words without knowledge. So, Job, we read about him in verse 1, was, a pretty good man and wasn't eschewed evil, but even at that, even with all the positive things about Job, I don't care how spiritual you are, I don't care how good you are, wonderful you are, knowledgeable you are, I don't care. You know what you don't know? The future, even 1 second of it. I mean, you know what, we're going to leave here in a little bit probably, but generally speaking, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know what God is doing, with the exception of what the Bible says. You don't know what Lucifer's doing, and he's a big part of this book of Job. You don't know what the demonic world's up to. We don't know any of that. So Job apparently assumed some things that weren't exactly right. And when he gave counsel about it, you know what it basically, all it could do, if you don't know what you're talking about, you're dimming the facts. You're hiding or darkening counsel. And the Lord is going to address that with Job. You know, Job had 3 friends, and they all had something to say, right? Job spoke, a friend spoke, a friend spoke, and Job spoke, all the way down through there. Finally, in Job 38, you know who speaks. It's like the Lord's like, okay, they're hashing it out. Now it's my turn. And he says, who is this that darkeneth counsel without knowledge? Job was probably a very knowledgeable man. But I'm telling you, our knowledge is bound by what Mama and Daddy taught us, Aunt and Uncle. You learn on the job, day in, day out. You know that's our knowledge is bound by that. Maybe we've educated ourselves with something, but as far as knowledge goes, we don't know. We don't know anything. We know what God allows us to know, and we don't know that. We skimp on that. So everybody's talking, everybody's, giving their opinion. Finally, God says, okay, here you go. It's my turn. I'm not going to get into the 3 friends of Job. Not even going to get into the 4th guy that showed up. I don't know who that was. But I just want to just give you a general idea. When was Job? Don't know that either. I suspect before Abraham, or maybe around the time of Abraham. I suspect. Let me tell you, it was before. You'll see here in a minute. It was before the written word of God. And we all know who wrote that. Moses. So we have the law of Moses, which Moses wrote. And apparently Job had never read the law of Moses. Probably because it hadn't been written yet. That's as simple as it is. That's how simple I've made it in my mind. The sacrifices and all the things you find in the law of Moses, you don't find anything like that in the book of Job. But he'd been around a long time. He was from the land of Uz. Where was that? I have no idea. Most people think it's somewhere in Arabia, or it might have been Arabia itself. I don't know. But God says, the Lord answered Job out of a whirlwind. Look at verse, 41 through 4. Okay, wait, let's finish 1 through 3. 38. Verse 3, gird up thy loins like a man, for I will demand or inquire of thee, and answer thou me. Gird up thy loins like a man, Job, and answer me. Put on your work boots. Strap down them boots. When the wife and kids knew I was ready to walk out the door and go to work, when I strapped them Red Wing steel-toed boots on, time to go. So strap on them boots like a man. No nonchalant answer here. Gird up the loins of your mind, you read in the New Testament. Gird up. And then verse 40, or chapter 41 through 4. Moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, shall he that contendeth, or to debate with words, with the Almighty instruct him? He that reproveth corrects God, let him answer it. So, Job was an upright man, a good man, hard worker. He eschewed evil. He turned from evil. Very moral man. But maybe you got to wonder if sometimes people don't get to thinking they're better or smarter than the average Joe, look at me. You kind of wonder if Job might have developed that attitude a little bit. God says, all right, you think you've got a handle on it? Then Job answered the Lord and said, Behold, I am vile. What shall I answer thee? I will lay mine hand upon my mouth. So I don't care how good you are when it comes to the Lord and the future. What's going to happen to this person? What's going to happen to that person? What's going to happen to me? This is what's going to happen. You don't know. Here Job was cranking along in life, rich, Eastern prince, no doubt. Maybe had been an Arabian prince, I don't know. But you see how much he lost, how much he had. Trucking along there, good, hard-working man, and all of a sudden, what in the world? Lost it all. Lost his family, his children. So, based on that, y'all, do we know the future? When we drive out of here, do we know what's going to happen? I'm going to go home, flop it in my chair, get on my YouTube channel, and watch people fall out of bed. I'll watch something stupid while I'm getting sleepy. Or am I? We don't know, do we? Job, pull up your pants like a big boy. Gird up thy loins. Strap it up, boy. And answer me. And Job went, now that you mentioned it, now that you put it that way, I will shut my mouth. I'll put my hand over my mouth. But the Lord inquired. The Lord said, tell me. And then we have our text for today. This is what Job said to God. I don't know what you all say to God. I don't know how you say it to God, but you do talk to God when you pray, right? Then Job answered, chapter 42, 1 through 6. Then Job answered the Lord and said, and I think I have it in blue there, mentioned what one of the things that God pointed out to Job. In verse 1 of chapter 41, canst thou draw out Leviathan with a hook, or his tongue with a cord, which thou lettest down? Then, that's one of the last things that God had said to him there in chapter 41. Now, I should address this. I don't know what Leviathan is. I mean, you could hear anything from a hippopotamus to a crocodile to an extinct dinosaur. I personally think it's Godzilla. Maybe the Chinese, or the Japanese, they make him Godzilla. Maybe it's Godzilla. I don't know what Leviathan is. I wouldn't even argue with it. But I'm telling you right now, it wasn't a pushover animal. It was an animal to be revered of some sort. A lot of people are saying it's the devil. I don't know. Spiritualize a lot of things nowadays. I don't know, but God had told him about Leviathan, what it was. Job, can you handle Leviathan? You know who can? God can. I don't care what Leviathan is, God can handle it, right? So based on that, Job said, verse 2 of 42, I know that thou canst do everything. And then I have the SCG there. I quoted from the SCG, the Steve Crawford Grammarly. Here's what that says. Here's how I think this, what probably be a better way to say that. I know you are able to do anything you want to do. Want to. There's no do there, but. And that no thought can be withholden or withheld from thee. Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Now, what did we just read up there in Job 38, verse 2? What did God say? Shall he that contendeth with the Almighty, and 38:2. Yeah. And then Job repeats that. In verse 3 of our text? Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore I have uttered that I understood not. Basically, Lord, after listening to you, after listening to what you said, I realize I am dumber than dirt. I don't know anything based on what you're talking about. Things too wonderful for me, which I knew not, which I know not. Hear or listen, I beseech thee. He's still talking to God. I beg of you. And I will speak. I will demand. And I thought I should put a little bit of a definition there. Require, ask, or beg of thee. And declare, instruct thou unto me. Lord, I'm begging you. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear. How had Job heard of God? By the hearing of the ear. You know what that means? He didn't read about God. He didn't have the law of Moses. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. Wherefore I abhor myself and repent in dust and ashes. You know what's wrong with this irreverent, I'll say it like this, irreverent Christian world? Doesn't the Christian world seem a little bit irreverent? They ain't seen God. You know why? They're not into the Word of God. They're into something else. I think they're into the preaching, the oration of the Word of God, but not necessarily the Word of God. He says here, because I have seen thee, I repent in dust and ashes. Now then, shouldn't we go over to what maybe the New Testament and find a little something that was written about Job? And there it is right there. James chapter 5, verse 11. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job? Constancy of Job. I mean, can't you at least admit that after reading the book of Job, after all he went through? I don't know exactly how it all played out in the timetables and all that, but when it come to the end, Job never cursed God, never falsely accused God. He just come to some wrong conclusions. But he endured. And you read the end of the book, he prospered. Don't want to get into the book of Job. I have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. That's the conclusion James came up with. So, based on that, it's time for us to talk to the Lord a little bit before we go home tonight.